Wait, turn that light off real quick.
Balance Pod.
This is episode number 13. We are eight episodes away from being in the top 1%.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this every single time.
Yep.
I don't even care.
Sure.
It's the lead in, you know?
Yeah.
It'll be crazy once we hit that episode 21. Episode 21 with Zayn Mir.
Yeah. And our quality is getting so much better each
Yeah, I
episode.
know.
So,
This is cinematic quality, man.
yeah. We definitely needed this consistency. Otherwise, if we focused too much on quality, we wouldn't have been able to push these episodes out.
You're
Or we
right.
might have just quit. So I think it was
Right.
the right move.
Alright, cool. So what I was gonna tell you is I was reading this book that's called The Ape That Understood the Universe. And it's by this guy named Stephen Stewart Williams. And essentially his main argument was that humans, like other mammals, or humans and all mammals, our behaviors in the modern era are dictated by technology, or by our ancestors. And apparently we originally all came from Africa, and then some people spread this way to the west and some people spread this way to the east.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of knew that, but I didn't fully piece it together in my mind until then.
Yeah.
But, you know, even the evolutions that different races have, it's based off weather patterns and stuff like that. So we were all African at one point.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. That's cool.
Lighter skin is a consequence of less sunlight.
Is it?
'Cause-
Because then they can absorb sunlight easier, no? Oh,
Yeah.
that's why they get sunburnt.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay. But, yeah, and then he was giving I didn't finish the book, obviously, but he's giving some specifications on how the modern stuff that we do now is still stimulated by back then. No, I know. I'm thinking, bro. I can't be dynamic all the time, you know?
Be dynamic.
There's some parts where I have to be robotic.
Yeah, sure.
Because I'm looking through this book.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he basically calls us a fish out of water. And that's basically saying we have too many resources,
Mm-hmm.
or we have too much accessibility to the world around us. I think the example we were talking about last episode was sugar, and how back in the day meaning back in those African tribe days, when we're making our way around hunting and killing animals and staying the night in whichever forest, wherever place. When we were doing that, we rarely came across any sweet substance, and that's why we developed a taste for sugar.
Or why we like sugar so
Why we
much.
like sugar so
Yeah.
much. Because the example that he mentioned in the thing, he says that if you try to train a kid to eat broccoli instead of trying to eat sugar, he's saying they won't do it because it's genetically built into their DNA
Yeah.
that sugar is something that's good.
Yeah.
And, I don't know, broccoli is something that's not as good.
Oh, so yeah. So the reason they say the reason sugar increases your dopamine level is actually a evolutionary thing because of how rare we got it. And
Yeah.
that's why it increases our dopamine so much.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
And also the thing with dopamine, I was mentioning it last episode, but I will repeat it again since the camera cut out so no one watched it.
Sure.
But dopamine is something that your brain uses to facilitate something that's good for you to do. So,
Yeah.
for example, we get dopamine from going to the gym, or we get dopamine from doing hard things, even doing homework. Because I'm saying we were supposed to live purposeful lives, kind of protecting our tribe and doing whatever and providing for them.
Mm-hmm.
But I like now that our brain assigns homework or some type of school thing or whatever, it's saying that we're pushing towards purposeful living. So that schoolwork, when it's hard for us, but then when we finish it, it feels good.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing with almost a lot of things that bring you dopamine. I think the issue where, as you mentioned with sugar a lot of sugar, excess sugar can cause overweight and obesity. And the other thing is with social media as well, or social media and internet usage in general. And I guess the thing is, it gives you so much dopamine at once that your brain actually thinks of it as a productive task. So
Mm-hmm.
inside your neurons or wherever this process is, it's telling you that this is something good and you should keep doing it. And that's how addictions to something like this form.
Yeah. Well, I guess my question is, like you said, if our brain is supposed to give us dopamine for doing good things, or if that reward system is built for us perfectly for us to do what we need to do or live purposeful lives, then why do we get dopamine from watching TV or scrolling through social media?
Because our brains haven't evolved to the level in which they can kind of take it. Because when the internet has been around for around 40 years, maybe even less than that.
Yeah.
And Homo sapiens specifically have been around for 200,000 years.
Yeah.
And the Homo erectus and all those people, or all the people that existed before us, they were around for 2 million years before us.
Yeah.
These past 40 years are a small blip in that the history of our civilization.
Yeah.
Or not even history of civilization, just human history.
Yeah.
It's a small blip. It's not even 0.1%.
Sure.
So if you look at agriculture as well, agriculture has only happened in the past 10,000 years,
Mm-hmm.
or past 12,000 years or wherever. That's still a very small proportion of our total history.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they're saying that a lot of our behavior drives back to those times and not anywhere recently. And we've been developing so fast that our mind can't catch up to it.
Mm-hmm.
Or our DNA can't catch up to it.
Yeah.
We're still built to do the things that we did back then.
Yeah. I agree with that. I think we reflected that in the last episode too.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot what we said specifically.
We kind of touched on it, but I don't think we went too much into detail.
Yeah.
But what I'm looking at this thing now,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, this is even saying, even though we know that something is bad, we still willingly consume in it because our DNA tells us that it's good.
Yeah. Again, though, my question is why? There's the fact that the internet's only been there for a little bit, but why is our brain rewarding us for watching social media? If dopamine is supposed to be our natural reward system, then why is it, like you said, it rewards us for going to the gym, it rewards us for doing homework. Why is it rewarding us for watching social media?
I'll talk about social media specifically, but if you're looking in the context of the internet in general,
Yeah.
I think video games are a big thing that you should, take a look at. Because we're built to have, in tribes, we're built to have status, right? Status, sex, and basic security. And once you take that basic security element away, then it's status and sex. And people often live that through a video game. Or I don't know, not the sex part, but the status part. The sex part they take care of by themselves, which they didn't do back then either. But the status part...
Is that true? People didn't...
probably not.
Really?
Would they have the opportunity to?
Yeah, I guess.
I
feel like it's I don't know. It's very easy to do it, and I don't see any reason for people not to do it back then.
They could have, but still, they had more sex than we do.
Yeah.
But the third thing, the status thing, that's the thing that I think draws a lot of people to the internet, and that's the thing that gives lots of dopamine. Because in prehistoric times, if you didn't have status, you were kicked out of the group. That's why we all have a desire to be socially liked or whatever. So every human has it, except if you're...
So you're saying things like social media and video games are manipulating that almost.
Yeah, they're giving you status. You get dopamine from seeing the likes go up on your post, right?
Yeah.
And you get dopamine from playing a video game or beating a hard boss.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know, leveling up.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah. That really reflects the point then, that we're not meant to be, our development has been faster than our brain has evolved.
Yeah.
And I think that point really reflects it with social media.
Even the status thing.
Yeah.
If you're talking about your goals and stuff,
Yeah.
your brain internalizes it as you actually doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So then that layer is just taken care of, and you feel satisfied. This is actually a thing. In the short term, you can feel satisfied if you talk about your goals to other people.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. They call it mental masturbation.
Yeah, that's what they refer to it as.
Yeah.
The gurus, people on YouTube. But also, that exists. And also, people use it in a positive way. as well. I read this book called Psycho-Cybernetics, where you basically just visualize yourself in a successful position, and your brain starts to transition to that slowly if you keep doing it. Because it's not the same as actually doing it.
Yeah.
Or experiencing it through video game or wherever.
Yeah, I saw an interview with Donald Trump and Robert Kiyosaki. It's on YouTube. And Donald Trump said he had a friend he had this friend, he kept flying first class even though he couldn't afford it or he wasn't that rich. And I don't know if it's true, but he said that it gave him the mentality he needed, and that allowed him to succeed.
What?
So, flying first class.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think there's some merit to that idea, but I'm not sure. There's probably a better way to go about it. Maybe it was an extreme case. I mean, he even said in the video it was an extreme case, but yeah.
Yeah, your mentality makes up a lot of it, though.
Yeah.
He's right.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, not completely, but he's on the right track, at least.
DJT,
Who?
he's on the right track. Oh, his friend,
What?
Donald Trump.
Yeah, what about him?
You're talking about his friend, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, what?
I thought you were talking about Donald Trump.
What did Donald Trump do?
Him saying that. All right, never mind.
What?
Yeah, all right.
But yeah, the mentality, yeah, because there's science behind how your brain actually takes that and how you can move forward with it.
Yeah.
Even now, we have better lighting and stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get into that mentality of being high quality podcasters.
Yeah. Increasing quality each episode.
Yep.
Yeah.
You mind handing me my water bottle?
Yeah, sure. But I was really thinking about this idea that you said it best here. I don't know how I was thinking about it, but our brain has not evolved as fast as society has developed. And I guess that's not the way I was thinking about it, but I was just thinking almost similar. But I was thinking we aren't meant to live in this era. Our brains we aren't fit to live in this age.
That's been true for a long time, though.
Really? For how long? Yeah,
I mean, we can pinpoint exactly the Industrial Revolution, but there's a lot of arguments that can be made that we couldn't live before that.
Yeah. I would argue even before the Industrial Revolution. I would say, I don't know, maybe at the advent of civilization, large civilizations.
What, where people stopped getting into, or stopped staying in tribes and started becoming more collective?
Yeah, I would say maybe that at that point. The reason I was thinking this, though, I forgot, but I was thinking something. It's just lost. But bro, I had this thought.
We were talking about this last episode as well.
Yeah.
But we've kind of gone against our mammal nature to stay in tribes. I think people that do things for the benefit of civilization, it's not really. I mean, I can't say it's not genuine, but it's not strong. I don't think it's a strong feeling. I feel like it's more of a feeling of duty than it is of personal emotion. Because you care a lot more about your own kids or your own mother or your own father than your neighbor's mother, your neighbor's father, your neighbor's kids, right? That's because we're built to be in these small circles, and all the mammals do it too, like wolves or gorillas or bears or whoever. They care, or whales, fucking whales. They care about their own kin more than that of other bears or whales or wherever.
Yeah. I don't know. I just had this thought, bro. I'm trying to remember. Was it from the last episode
What?
that we talked about this?
We talked a little bit about it in the last episode.
Yeah. I don't know. I forgot what exactly I was thinking. Whatever. It's lost. But it was this same idea. And I even
Oh, you know what? Yeah, go. Keep going.
Yeah, I've even thought about how good it would be just to be. This might have been the line of thinking I was on, but I was thinking about how it'd feel to be a farmer so long ago, not before the advent of civilization.
Yeah.
Just a farmer. I don't know.
What, you're just raising your crops? A farmer? I mean, what did they have? Farmer, fisherman, and a couple other super small roles.
Yeah.
And they all just came together. They shared the fish. They shared the rice. They shared everything.
Yeah, I think I was thinking something like maybe that's all you need to be happy. You don't need any more than that.
Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the only reason I'd want money. I mean, I'm not a very materialistic person.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd want money so that I won't have any money problems.
Exactly.
In the future.
Exactly. So I think I was telling someone that the reason even that someone might not be pursuing that, or might be pursuing whatever money and all that is just because of society. And then I was
I
imagining
think
a time.
it's also due to the status thing we were mentioning earlier.
Yeah.
Seeing the numbers go up
Exactly.
and dopamine and stuff
Exactly.
like that.
So yeah, I think that's what was leading me to think that maybe we should have. It would have been better at a time when all this wasn't around.
Yeah, I know, but I'm not a huge fan of that kind of thinking because we were already here. Might as well take
But it led
to
to the same idea.
Yeah. Also, what you were saying earlier about why are our brains conditioned to not be afraid of social media, or even if you bring it to substances that are dangerous for us, like drugs, people willingly partake in drugs. The answer to this, actually, if you imagine the scenario where a car is coming at a porcupine as fast as it could.
Mm-hmm.
You know, porcupines they shell up, right?
Yeah.
What do you think a porcupine would do if a car is coming as fast as possible?
What are you asking? Fight or flight? Like, would it shell up or would it run away?
What would it do?
What would it do if a car was going at it?
Yeah. What do you think it would do? I know the answer.
I think it would shell up. It knows it's not fast enough to move out of the way, right?
No, it's not that. That it would shell up. That's the answer. But the reasoning is different. It's because back in the day, whenever bears or whatever were coming at porcupines, they developed a thing so where they could shell up, and then it would be completely fine. The bear would just go away because it can't fucking eat the shell.
Yeah.
But when you see when it sees a car coming at it, it has the same response built into its DNA.
Yeah.
It doesn't know that it should run away.
Yeah.
Because bears and stuff, they're obviously faster than porcupines.
Yeah.
So what it does, it just shells up and it gets run over by the car.
Yeah.
Because the car can easily, ram that thing.
Mm-hmm.
And there's strong evidence for us behaving the same way. We're scared of dogs. A lot of people are scared of snakes or spiders or whatever because it all caused, or bees or whatever, it all caused such detriment to us in the past that it's built into our DNA. But social media and stuff like that, and even drugs, that's come around recently. Our brains haven't had the time to say this is a bad thing.
Yeah.
And we just keep indulging in it.
Yeah.
Because we wouldn't jump off a cliff for the thrill most of the time.
Yeah.
I mean, people do that because it's hard. But people don't do it because it's fun. I mean, maybe people find fun in the hard. But they're scared of heights. But they're not scared of their phone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I definitely agree. And that's just to the point that their development has been so fast. If you go back, if you're using jumping from heights or snakes as an example, those were such little things. And even if humans weren't accustomed to it back then, it was just one or two things, and eventually they would become accustomed to that. But now there's almost a million things. There's your phone and all the apps inside of it, every single video game. There's just I really think that reinforces that point. There's just way too many things that have been developed that are bad for us.
Yeah. And this is also talking about why kids don't like school as much. And I didn't touch on it. I said we'd talk about it in this episode, but because what we do back in those days as well, we'd prepare for the tasks that would protect and provide for our tribe. But now, things like math or writing or arithmetic is math, but math, writing, I don't know, history, whatever, they didn't learn that back in the day. Or that wasn't of use to them. What was of use to them was hunting and stuff like that. That's why a lot of kids enjoy doing sports way more than they enjoy doing school.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why do you think Indian society is different then? Because do you enjoy learning? I enjoy learning.
I enjoy learning, but
I also enjoy sports.
It depends on how it is. I think most kids enjoy learning. It's just...
Actually, I mean, I enjoy learning things that I think will be useful to me later. Really? Even this evolutionary psychology thing, I enjoy learning about it.
I enjoy learning. I don't think it's a specifically Indian thing. I think a lot of kids enjoy learning.
I think a lot of Asian kids are into learning more than anywhere else in the world. At least from my experience, I've seen that most Asian kids tend to be into learning.
That might be related to culture and less due to evolutionary psychology.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I think when you push when a culture pushes the benefits of learning and the positive learning, that kid is more willing to take the initiative to learn, and then once they're actually doing it, they're like, oh, this is kind of fun. Yeah. Whereas when you have a culture that's pushing negative things about learning, then they won't even take that initiative in the first place, and they won't know it can be fun.
That's true. Okay, this is the breast cancer thing. This is why most people, or not most, but a lot of people have or why breast cancer is even a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just read this because it's a lot of information.
Sure.
For most of our history, women have spent the bulk of their reproductive years either pregnant or breastfeeding. Women don't menstruate when they're pregnant, and they tend not to menstruate when they're breastfeeding either, at least not in hunter-gatherer conditions. The net result is that until recently, most women had only 100 or so menstrual cycles in their lifetimes. Things are very different today. Women hit puberty earlier, have fewer pregnancies, and spend a smaller fraction of their lives nursing their young. They, therefore, have many more menstrual cycles than their ancestors, as many as 400. This is more important than their reproductive systems, or this is not important. Where am I even reading that? This is more than their reproductive systems are designed for, and it exposes them to unnaturally high levels of hormones and unnaturally frequent hormonal fluctuations. And this apparently increases women's risk of breast cancer as well as conditions such as anemia and endometriosis, something. But yeah, and they're saying they compared that to obesity. They're saying it's the same way, and that lifestyle now is influencing the rise of these diseases because we didn't have them back in the day in tribal times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what else to say about that.
But that's the reason. Whatever.
Yeah.
I was going to say that last time, but I didn't have the exact science behind it, but I'm reading directly from the book.
Yeah, I remember. What about other diseases?
It's saying even depression is something that's coming here
because
now
of
more
evolutionary
often
psychology?
No, they said back in the day we didn't know, no one in the hunter-gatherer tribes had depression.
Yeah.
But now a lot of people do.
Yeah.
And you were hinting at this in the David podcast where you were saying that technological development is actually causing it. And it's not just the chemicals, of course it's the chemicals as well, but you were saying it's a lack of purposeful living.
Yeah. Yeah, I did say that. And also the fact that people have nothing to do and lack of purpose. Because if you go back to people before, they were busy. They were never sitting around doing nothing. They had to worry about the next meal, the next getting water for them to live. And even if you look at less developed areas in the world today, depression is way lower, and that's because these people have a purpose. They have somewhere to climb. But once you hit that top and then you don't want to go, you're at the top. There's nowhere to climb. And even people who haven't hit the top and you're just comfortable in the state of living you are, and you have, again, purposelessness or you're without goals, that's when I think depression hits. Because, again, that's when you're sulking in your thoughts. There's nothing there. For a person who has purpose, they're always thinking something. I have to get here. But I think that nothingness is dangerous. Also, look at me when I talk, bro.
No, I know. I was reading this book.
Yeah, okay.
That's why. But, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't really say it better. Even a lot of people, then they get out of depression, they have more of a purposeful intent.
Yeah.
I think depression, at least, is mainly, or at least what I've observed in other people, I've mainly seen it as either a lack of purpose or a lack of love. And I can't generalize, but from my experience as well, males feel it a lot more in lack of purpose, and women feel it a lot more in lack of love, because they don't feel like, or something with status. I don't know how the female brain works. I'm not a female, but
it's interesting.
Males generally, I think I don't know how this ties back into the olden days back then, but I think still, even females had a lot more purposeful living back then than they do now, and even more than most males do now, to be honest. But I guess where I'm going with this is that the way in which it's caused, as you were saying earlier, is people not knowing what to do with their lives. Because a lot of people, they try to, I think drugs have also kind of helped in that, because a lot of people, when they don't know what they're doing, they either spend time on their phone, or they go out and they go for drinks with their friends, or they go smoke weed or something like that.
Yeah, they're numbing that feeling, which is just postponing it or making it worse.
Yeah.
If you don't,
That's why I'm a big advocate against antidepressants. I'm not a big advocate against it. I've never spoken out about it or anything, but I have the opinion that antidepressants are bad for you because what they do is they eliminate the chemical, but they're not eliminating the actual cause.
yeah. What I think is in interventionary cases where someone is about to commit suicide or they're on the verge of something like that, then it might be necessary. But again, that's only there because of the developments we've had.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But
I think that there's no way that someone should actually be committing, or someone should even be thinking about committing suicide.
It's possible.
It is possible, yeah.
It is possible.
I guess, yeah, you're right. I've considered the possibility, but I haven't looked into it.
Then to save that life, it's necessary.
Yeah, but then it's something that you can get addicted on, no? Because it's
there's
also
proper
the thing
usage
of-
and improper usage, as with any drug. But another thing we talked about in the last episode was people not sitting down and sifting through their thoughts. And
That wasn't on the last one, buddy. That was on the one before.
yeah, my bad. But yeah, that also connects to this because, like I said, when you go to the bar and get drinks or something like that, you're pushing away something that you need to do, which is sift through your thoughts. And the more you do this, the more when you're sad, you go and listen to music. Music is something different. It's been there for a while.
But also, I feel like it's similar to a drug. It's just not intense. Because it manipulates your mood. If you listen to sad music, you'll feel sad.
Yeah.
If you listen to hype music, you'll feel hype.
It is kind of, yeah. I've always found that strange. But, music is a lesser example. But if you use something like,
So what's that sound?
What? That's me. Sorry.
Right, don't do that, man.
Yeah. But if you use something like going out and getting drinks, you're pushing away what needs to be done, which is sift through your thoughts, order your mind.
Yeah, exactly. Because you were saying that meditation was invented back in the day for people that needed to, because all they do is sit with their thoughts because they didn't have any stimulants. So what meditation was intended to do was it helped them increase their focus and stuff, by completely clearing away anything in their head for a certain period of time or whatever. Yeah. And that would reflect in however they would act the rest of the time.
Yeah. And now we need the opposite.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't really have anything to add to that.
Neither do I.
Yeah, because we touched on it.
Yeah.
We're good. Yeah. What else do you think? I mean, I can look through this book, but
about
what else?
Evolutionary psychology?
Yeah. The way that we behave. You think is everything, or what do you think that everything we do is for?
Meaning what? Everything we do?
Yeah.
What is it for?
Yeah. Our behavior. I mean, this guy says there's a lot of different theories to where, Darwin was saying that it was for the survival of our species, and someone else was saying that it was all for reproducing and expanding our species.
I don't think there's a clear-cut answer to that. I don't think you can define humans like that. And I think that's where science and faith intersect.
Yeah.
In the field of faith, we know of faithless people and faithful people. And faithful people have a purpose. Mm-hmm. And faithless people don't.
Yeah.
That's what we believe. It's as if the faithless people, we believe them to be wandering through life aimlessly. Yeah. But that goes back to the point of before the advent of any kind of faith, maybe 200,000 years ago. How about then? Then I think it could have always been about survival because, what else is there to think about at that stage?
Yeah, because if you think about it, I'm sure all this stuff, I'm sure faith and all that stuff existed, but it really started to become it spread like wildfire once agriculture had started.
Exactly.
Every ancient text was written after that.
Yeah.
Of any religion.
Yeah. So when you have more time and you're not always doing something, that's when you start to contemplate things. So I think the question of posing that what is everything we are, or what did you ask again in your words?
Why do you think we do the things that we do?
Yeah. I think there is no clear-cut answer to that from a human standpoint.
Really? In the Joe Rogan Naval podcast, Naval was saying that if, I mean, there's the broad question of people saying, what is the meaning of life or what is the purpose of life? And he's saying that there's really three answers to that. The one of them, he said, is if it's individual reason or it's personal reason.
Exactly.
Everyone has their own different
That's
meaning.
what I'm saying.
And then the second one is it's an axiom because God put you here or something like that.
Axiom meaning what?
You're depending on something larger than you to illustrate your purpose.
Right.
And the third, this is the most boring answer, but apparently this exists. Whenever a human dies, the world heats up just a little bit, like a very small amount. And it's something where we're supposed to heat up the world to that amount because the carbon gets released in our body or something. So he's saying that was also, that's a true scientific, there's only three, I don't know why I held up 4 fingers. But he's saying that's a true scientific reason.
Mm-hmm.
Or that's the way that scientists would use to justify themselves.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So when you die...
I mean, I can look it up,
Yeah.
but...
I don't know. I was really
World
thinking about those
heating
individual
up
reasons,
when
and that's why
you
I said
die.
there was no clear-cut answer. But, yeah.
Nah, it's just talking about global warming and stuff.
Yeah.
But
His podcast is on a different level, bro, what he talks about.
yeah, I know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But did you watch it?
What?
Did you watch some of it?
Yeah.
It's actually crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like he does a lot of that where he sits around and talks. Because even when we're talking about or sits around and thinks.
Yeah.
Because even when we're talking about articulation,
Yeah.
I think he's one of the best to ever do it.
Mhm.
Because if you look at his responses to Rogan or his responses to anybody else on his podcast, it seems like it's so well thought out. Even he was saying in the middle of his podcast, sometimes I think about things and then I kind of express them in a way, or I'm thinking about them as, before I got on this podcast, I was thinking, if Joe Rogan asked me this question, what would I say, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But the way that he answers every question seems like it's so well thought out.
Yeah.
It seems like he's a robot and he's just generating the response
Yeah.
to the question that he's asked.
Yeah. That's insane.
I think that's what happens when people actually get in tune with their own thoughts.
Mm-hmm. Or fully in tune.
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine a world, everyone living
Well,
like that.
it's
Everyone
that-
being that articulate. Everyone being that well thought out.
It's that utopia picture. Remember the one that I showed you?
Yeah.
Where the flying cars flying like this, and it's that urban thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what the world would be like.
Yeah. I don't know. Is that development a good thing?
I don't know, man. I feel like if everyone is in tune with their own thoughts, then it should be a good thing, no?
Like if everyone's fine,
It's
then
convenient.
development's a good
It's
thing.
convenient.
Yeah.
It's
It just,
convenient
it just
for
allows
us.
us to be better.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Surely that's not a bad
Is
thing.
that what better means?
Is this what the whales saw?
No. No. But here's what my point was earlier. Is that really better? What is the meaning of convenience? What is convenience? Why does that matter at all?
It makes it easier for us to do our jobs. Travel, for example. If a guy was a shoe shiner,
But yeah,
fucking
But
in
you're
1850,
missing
he had to walk to the train station to shine his shoes. But then
You're
in
missing the bigger
1920,
picture.
he could have rode his car there.
you're missing the bigger picture. What I'm asking is, why is that even? Is any of this a good thing? You're saying, if everyone is cool, like no one's depressed, and everyone's in touch with their thoughts, then development is a good thing. But is it? I feel like it's neither a good thing or a bad thing. It's just nothing. So the point that I'm trying to explain is that maybe the peak of human experience was
Back then.
just being a hunter gatherer.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't get better than that. And I know we bring this up a lot, but in our belief system, we have these 4 stages of the world.
Yeah.
And that was the golden era as per those stages.
Really.
Yeah, and this
Yeah.
is the era of suffering.
True.
So maybe at that start, when when things are simpler, maybe that's just the peak human experience.
Yeah, but I mean, correlation is not causation, or whatever we say in debate.
Mhm.
Like whenever we're doing debate, we always use that as our anti-argument.
Yeah.
But I'd say I'd pick that side in this case as well. Just because they didn't have technology back then doesn't mean it was the golden era. It could have made it more if we're hunter-gatherers, we could have had tools that made it more convenient for us to hunt. Or are you saying back when we used to fight animals with our bare hands and we used to eat rocks, is that a better stage of life than when we had swords and bows and arrows and stuff? Because that's still technological development.
It might be similar to, we've talked about the economic cycle of countries, where there's a rise, there's a top, and then there's a fall. And ideally, you want to be living in the rise of a country. And, you know, we even argued about the best point in the rise. And we said it was right before you hit the top, because that's when you have that technological innovation. But then,
Oh, yeah.
so maybe it's a similar case where you have technological innovation, but you're not quite at the top yet. So when we're talking about, you know, maybe not eating, our stage where we were eating rocks, that was probably not the best stage. But yeah, sure, maybe a time when we had tools and we had bows and arrows.
What, so you think human civilization peaked 150,000 years ago and we've just been on the decline since then?
The human experience.
What was the
People
bow
were-
and arrow a more significant invention than the
People
iPhone?
were happiest. People were best
Yeah.
off.
Because they were living with intent. I feel like there's still a lot of intent to be found. Because if you're looking at, I mean, the similar, or not similar, what am I even saying? The comparison I can draw between then and now, it's not a big comparison, it's kind of a stretch. But not really. The job market, if you're looking at the job market, a lot of jobs from back then have been shut down, but a lot of new jobs are opening due to development. So I think we'll always have, and there's always an employment shortage, I think we'll always have a place where we can live purposefully, but that connection isn't there anymore. Since back then, it was our most basic need, our survival. But
Okay.
now we're working for the betterment of society.
Sure.
Do you get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying, but I would say let's remove the hypothetical. Let's remove the hypothetical that people are in touch with their thoughts and people are not depressed or whatever. And let's address the current situation that we're living in. It's a direct consequence. I think that hypothetical, even though we were just considering it, might be a useless hypothetical.
Yeah.
Because all of this, like we've been saying, is a consequence of development. So I think that's really the main idea, that development may not be a good thing.
But
And
I don't think development is necessarily a bad thing. I just think that
I think
in certain areas it is. For example, I think social media in general, but even social media, it isn't always a bad thing. It allows us to connect with other people.
sure, but that
I can
double-edged
talk to my
sword exists
grandma
for
over
anything. Yeah, but that double-edged sword exists for anything. There's always a good to some bad thing. You know, like those people that say, you know, Hitler was a good public speaker. You know.
Yeah,
That
those people. I wonder who those people are.
That doesn't mean we want him back. Yeah. Whoa, what are you referring to?
What?
Who are you referring to? The kid in that class?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But yeah. Kanye said that too.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. But anyways. But yeah. I think it's a direct consequence. And if you look at the globe, there's just certain big problems that aren't going to disappear. Like depression. That's not going anywhere and it's on the incline.
You think?
Or
What if a
obesity.
World War III starts?
Depression,
I think depression
will
will
end?
just go away. Yeah.
I don't think so.
I think trauma will resurface, but I think depression will go away. Because depression and trauma are different things.
Yeah, that's interesting. I really have faith in this. Well, my belief system, it's very strong.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a Hindu, so whenever I see
Oh,
these,
really? Are you?
yeah.
Wow.
Whenever
you
I
really
s-
believe it?
Yeah. Whenever I see these kind of things, I'm inclined to think about the four stages of our whatever world, and yeah, it just reinforces the idea to me. Maybe if I see it personally happen, but if you think about even the past 100 years, those kind of issues have only gotten worse and they aren't getting better.
I think that, I mean, I also believe in the belief system. I think we're at a worse stage now, but I don't think development is a cause of it, you know?
Then what? So that whatever higher reason there is,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's just how things ended up.
that's not because of development.
Yeah, it's not because of development.
Yeah.
Because development was good.
Yeah.
And then once we
Yeah.
entered this era, development was suddenly
Yeah,
bad. It can't be.
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Should I keep looking at this book and seeing what else they talk about?
Yeah. What else about evolutionary psychology? There's definitely some interesting things.
Where do you think curiosity comes from?
Again, I think it might go back to the point when you have more time, and at the advent of agricultural society, and you're thinking.
You sound like a butt right now.
Yeah, I do, bro. Oh, that's so corny. But yeah.
So you say every single time. What
Yeah,
do you
but
mean?
not like that, bro. What the
Yeah,
hell
no,
was that?
It's a mimicry.
It was a bad mimicry.
No, that's what you look like.
Yes. fucking dumb. But yeah, I think it goes back to that point of the advent of agriculture, and that's when people had more time to just think, and then from there
people just became interested in learning.
People just became interested, yeah, because
who the hell figured out calculus? Were they that interested in finding the area under the curve?
They had so much more time, and they were just thinking about things, you know.
Like Isaac Newton, no one discovered gravity for 200,000 years of human civilization until some guy tossed or watched an apple drop from a tree.
That's a myth, bro.
Yeah, but still, point still stands.
You're a kid.
Point still stands.
Right.
No, man, Isaac Newton was real. That apple was real.
Yeah.
What about Einstein? Why did we even think of relativity? I feel like even when I learn stuff like that, it's so cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, how the fuck did this guy even discover relativity?
He was thinking.
Yeah,
real hard. He didn't have his phone to distract him.
Yeah, true. You think we're past the age of scientific discoveries?
No, it's still getting there.
What about the comment on our thing where
What?
he's saying Neuralink could help his dad walk again?
Bro. How do you even reply to that, bro?
I didn't reply to that.
No, I said, how do you reply to that?
Oh.
Did you like it?
No.
Is it the only one that's not liked, bro?
Maybe I liked it.
He's lying, bro. It's clearly a troll.
No.
It's a troll. It has to
No.
be a troll.
No, I can't.
Bro.
He sounded really genuine.
He's trolling. He wants to mess with us.
All right, sure. That's why I'm laughing at it, by the way. I'm keeping that part in.
No, bro, we're cutting it out. We're
No,
cutting
we're
it
not.
out. We're
No,
cutting
we're
it out.
not.
All right,
It's
fine.
genuine. It's authenticity. It builds our brand.
All right, bro. Yeah, I'm snapping too.
What?
Yeah.
How do I come back from that?
I'm
Okay,
going
but
back.
still,
All right.
the point still stands. What
Yeah.
I brought up, it still stands.
Yeah, there's good. There are good things about development. Yeah. And the consequences or the bad things that are happening might not be due to development. I'd agree with you.
Because we've cured cholera, the plague,
Yeah.
and a bunch of other.
Yeah. So the bad things that are happening aren't directly because of it. It just happens to be paired with it.
Yeah, and also as we've been expanding human civilization, I think diseases and stuff like that have been increasing because we're coming in contact with other people.
Mm-hmm.
Columbian exchange, for example, a bunch of Spanish people met a bunch of Native American people, and then boom, disease outbreak.
Yeah. Yeah.
think,
I don't
yeah.
know what else to say to that.
Yeah, so the development to cure those diseases could be a good thing, but then there's also an example of development causing the diseases, such as cancer, or lead poisoning, or all that stupid. Or I can't say stupid shit that people die from,
Yeah.
but stuff that people die from.
Yeah. Yeah, so there
Yeah,
are some
marijuana.
direct things. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. The German team.
Hmm?
The German soccer team.
What about
Have you never seen that photo?
Mm.
They're in Qatar.
Oh, and they all did this to their national anthem?
Yeah, and then they just fucking lost.
Yeah, no. Dude, Germany is fucking ass now, bro. They're so good back in the day.
Yeah.
You remember the days when Muller and what's that other dude? Mario Götze. And it's just all those Bayern dudes
Yeah,
were
yeah,
in
yeah.
their prime.
Yeah.
And they're just so good. They 7-1 Brazil. I mean, can we talk much about the German soccer team?
Yeah,
They suck, man.
Start talking about football.
They suck.
Yeah.
And also, I think we should stop talking about football.
Why?
I don't know. I feel like it's not flowing. It doesn't have the same momentum,
Alright,
you know,
fine.
that the other one did.
Yeah.
The snap was a figurative thing. I didn't mean for you to snap as well.
Oh.
But yeah. I think are we done?
should
This
we
will be a
get
shorter episode.
Should we get Vikram on?
Nah. You know, we should get Vikram on to do the Jamie thing though. That's what I think. I think he should just be looking stuff up in the background
Actually.
while we're doing stuff.
He would do it too.
I think either Vikram or Naren.
Man.
Naren would be a fun one. Yeah. We can give him a job. We can assign him purposeful living.
Maybe once he watched our episodes of it.
Yeah.
Once how we change him.
Once he sees this episode,
Yeah.
he'll see, you know, the purposeful living.
How social media is ruining him. And
Yeah.
how he's living a purposeless life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Good place to end it.
Sure. Don't take birth control.